You know, in this day and age, we all leave behind these little digital ghosts, echoes of our movements, our thoughts, our intentions. And in late 2022, a truly horrific crime in a small college town left investigators with almost no physical leads. The key to finding the killer wasn't a footprint. It was the silent, digital trail he thought he'd managed to erase. So let's get into how digital forensics pieced together this incredibly tragic puzzle.
Can you just imagine hearing this? In the days right after the murders, that statement from the police chief just sent a chill through the entire community of Moscow, Idaho. A brutal, seemingly random attack, and the person who did it was still out there. The fear was real. The question wasn't just who did this, but where were they now?
So to really understand how this investigation unfolded, we have to go back to the night before everything went so horribly wrong. It was a Saturday night, just like any other for these four friends. A night that was, completely tragically normal.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's so ordinary. A frat party for Xana and Ethan, a local bar for Kaylee and Madison. They all made it home. We even know Xana was awake around 4 a.m. because of that DoorDash delivery. But less than 8 hours later, a frantic 911 call would just shatter everything.
And what police found inside that house was just a nightmare. A quadruple homicide. 4 young people with their whole lives ahead of them. Gone. Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gongalvis, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin. So, with a crime scene this horrific and no obvious suspect, investigators had to rely on what the killer left behind. And in his rush, he made mistakes. He left just three crucial pieces of evidence that would become the entire foundation for this case.
The first break was absolutely chilling. It came from one of the surviving roommates. Put yourself in her shoes for a second. She hears crying, opens her door, and sees a masked figure walking towards her. She said she was in a frozen shock phase, and he just walked right past her and out the back door. Her description, tall, athletic, and this one detail, bushy eyebrows, gave police their first sketch of this phantom.
Clue number 2 came from security cameras. A white Hyundai Elantra. But here's the thing, it didn't just drive by once. It was spotted circling the house 4 times in the early morning hours. That's not a random drive-by. That's someone watching, waiting. The car became a ghost they had to find.
And this was the killer's single biggest mistake. Amidst all that horror, he left something behind. A tan leather knife sheath. And they found it on the bed, right next to Madison Mogen and Kaylee Gonsalves. This wasn't just some random item. It was a direct physical link. The killer was now tied to the room.
So what was so important about this sheath? Well, it was the DNA on it. Not a messy, mixed sample, a single, clean source of male DNA, right there on the button snap. I mean, for investigators, that is the jackpot. They now had the killer's genetic signature. They had their ghost. They just had to put a name to it.
Okay, so with the physical evidence locked in, the whole investigation pivoted. The hunt for the guy in the white Elantra and the owner of that DNA, well, it led investigators straight into the digital world. This is where they started chasing the ghost in the machine.
And when investigators finally honed in on a suspect and got a warrant for his phone records, what they found was absolutely bone-chilling. His phone had pinged near the victim's house at least 12 times in the months before the attack. 12. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was methodical. This was stalking.
This timeline right here maps out the attack itself. At 2:47 in the morning, the phone goes dark. That's deliberate. He's trying to hide. Then at 4:04 a.m., his car is seen arriving for the last time. Police believe the murders themselves happened in a terrifyingly fast 21-minute window. And by 4:48 a.m., his phone pops back on miles away as he's making his escape.
So that period when the phone was off, 2 hours and 1 minute, that is the dark heart of this crime. That's the window where stalking became action, where a plan turned into an absolute massacre. That is the time when 4 young lives were taken.
And if that wasn't disturbing enough, the phone data showed something truly audacious. Just 5 hours after the murders, his phone pinged near the house again. He came back. Did he come back to see the aftermath? To relive it? We'll probably never know, but the thought is just terrifying.
So all this evidence, the DNA, the car, the digital trail, it all started to point to one person. And his identity sent a whole new shockwave through the country, because the man police believed had stalked and murdered 4 college students was studying to become an expert on criminals himself.
I mean, just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got Bryan Kohberger, a PhD student just down the road at Washington State, literally studying the criminal mind. And on the other, you have the man whose DNA, car, and phone data put him right at the center of this horrific crime. The irony is just, it's deeply, deeply disturbing.
For over 2 years, Kohberger maintained his innocence. The entire world was getting ready for a long, televised trial. And then, just weeks before it was all supposed to start, everything changed. A sudden, dramatic reversal that brought the case to a completely unexpected end.
A deal was made. Kohberger agreed to plead guilty to everything, all 4 murders and the burglary charge. In exchange, the prosecutors took the death penalty off the table. Now, this kind of thing happens, but it's always controversial. It gives the families a guaranteed conviction without the trauma of a trial, but it also slams the door shut on a public airing of all the evidence.
But for some of the families, this was not justice. Kaylee Gonzalez's family was furious. They wanted a trial. They wanted answers out in the open. And this really gets at a painful question at the heart of our justice system, right? Is justice just a guaranteed conviction? Or is it about the search for truth in a courtroom? For this family, a deal without a full public accounting felt like a failure.
And that leads us to the haunting end of this case. The legal chapter is closed, but the story? It just feels incomplete. The killer is behind bars for life, but the one question that everyone has been asking since day one is still unanswered. At the sentencing, the families finally got their chance to confront him, and Kaylee's sister Olivia gave this incredibly powerful statement. It wasn't just about grief, it was defiant. She refused to let Kohberger's sick, academic interest define her sister's murder. She was taking their story back, reminding everyone that they were vibrant, loved people.
The final sentence was absolute. 4 life sentences, one after the other, plus another 10 years, no chance of parole. Bryan Kohberger will die in prison. But while the courtroom doors closed, the mystery didn't. The plea deal guarantees he's never free, but it also pretty much guarantees we'll never know why he did.
So we're left with this. The man is caught, the digital ghost was unmasked. It's an incredible testament to what modern forensics can do, but this case also shows us the limits of that technology. It can piece together the who, the what, and the how, but it can't get inside someone's head to find the why. And without that, the wounds for these families, for this community, may never truly heal. It forces us all to ask, when a motive stays locked inside a killer's mind, what does justice really look like?